In my first video, I talked about one of the things we're going to talk about is unrealistic expectations, and so I want to mention that now. That this is our warning, that we don't come. You as a believer, and you as you explain it to unbelievers, and you have conversations. That you don't come to the conversation or a sermon or a book or talking to your friend or your pastor or somebody that when you're done, that everything's all is going to be tied up into a nice little bow. That when you're done reading the book or watching this video or another podcast, um, that you're going to have all the loose ends are going to be are going to be tied up, and it's all going to be nice and neat, and all your questions are going to be resolved. Now this maybe it's not. Maybe you're sitting there saying, "Well, why would I want to be a Christian?" I mean, I'm explaining that multiple times as we're going through this. But my point is that, I mean, we are God's greatest creation, and so we have this imago Dei, or something that no other, I'll say, animal, but nothing else in creation bears the image of God like we do. So I just say this respectfully, but when your dog dies, it's just not the same as when is when your child or your friend. I mean, I shouldn't even have to apologize that, but there's some people out there, they just love their dog so much. And I've lost dogs, and my children have lost cats, and we're really sad to see them go. I'm just saying, we bear the image of God, not your dog and not your cat. And so when 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 a person dies, it is so deep. The pain is so profound. It is not like losing a family pet. So you you're not going to have everything tied up in a nice little bow, and everything's going to be all nice and tidy and be done with it when it comes to a family member or a friend. So don't come to your pastor or a book or a podcast or this video thinking that when you're done, everything's going to be good, and all my questions are going to be resolved, and I'm going to feel good about everything. And all the years of hurt, especially if it's ongoing abuse, that all these years of hurt are going to be washed away. That just highlights the absurdity of Richard Dawkins and the Eastern view that it's just an illusion, because it's not. You've got ongoing anger. That don't come to this thinking that when I'm done, all my anger is going to be gone. All the questioning and apprehension and suspicion, it's going to be gone. Just your sadness and the emotional trauma that you still experience, that somehow God's just going to take it all away. He doesn't do that. I think that he does for some people, and some people are able to overcome maybe quicker than some of the rest of us. I'm one of them slow overcomers with my stuff. I just want to warn you not to come thinking that when you get to the end of this video series or a conversation with your pastor or a respected friend, that everything's going to be healed and solved, and there'll be no more pain. Sometimes, every time in a subject of pain and suffering, it's deep and it's embedded into your psyche and your thinking processes and your response mechanism. When like we call being triggered, all that's there, and it's and it might seem hopeless, and it might seem endless and overwhelming, but I will say there's pain that is so deep it stays with you for your whole life, and you even be a grown up, and you still remember trauma, still affected, still don't trust people, still have apprehension. So God's not a genie in a bottle, right? Like I think it's the second video in this series where like Kenneth Copeland is like God's just a genie in a bottle, and we preach and pray and say, and he's supposed to jump out and give us our three wishes. I think I got a genie in a bottle up there somewhere on my shelf behind me. It's an object lesson. I don't know where it is, but God's not a genie in a bottle. He's a God who is with us. He's a God who doesn't abandon us. So sometimes that pain is so deep it takes a lifetime, and God is with us in that long, slow healing process. And sometimes our worst fear is realize that we don't have any resolution, that this is not fixed. But we do get hope, right? We do get hope in the midst of, in the process, and while we're renewing our mind, walking with God, have a healthy relationship with mature believers. Don't pick an immature believer to trust this with. But in this process of walking with a mature believer, if we do get glimpses of hope, and it's consistent, and we continue to follow, and we get this idea of that God really is with me, and it takes a long time to continue to tell yourself that it's true, because you're renewing your mind. You used to think that he rejected you. Now you believe the Bible. Now you're choosing to choose, because we have an informed faith. We're not shot in the dark where we're just groping around hoping. We have an informed faith. The Christian worldview is an informed faith. And so you're slowly beginning to realize that. And so I want to encourage you in that, that God is with you while and during, in the midst of. This hope keeps coming, the presence of God and Jesus entering into your pain and your suffering. That's what we see throughout the New Testament, and throughout, especially in the his crucifixion, that Jesus enters into our pain and our suffering, and he's with us in the slow process. This is where I said earlier, I hope that you'll trust what you don't know, trust God with what you don't know, because you're beginning to trust and see and trust him with what you do know. That you're not alone, and that he's with you. And the Christian worldview ultimately teaches that he's going to make every injustice right, and he'll wipe away every tear. So I hope you're encouraged with this, and keep pressing on.